Herren, willkommen zu unserer heutigen Episode. Today I want us to go through one of the most important bits of your examination. I want us to just have some nice talk on the A1 Sprechen, and today I want us to cover on specifically the Teil 3, all right? Okay, let's go right ahead. Let me just quickly write down the topic. Our heading for today is A1. We're going through the A1 Sprechen. The A1 Sprechen. That is the A1 speaking. And I would like us to focus on Teil 3. Let's have a focus on Teil 3. All right? Now, first and foremost, remember this paper is called the A1. You could either call it Stadt Deutsch 1. Stadt Deutsch 1. Remember, this is the Teil 3, and Teil 3 is normally about forming requests. Forming requests. This is Teil 3. Forming requests. So, what happens in this part number 3? Well, in Teil 3, what happens is this. You're normally given cards, and you are expected to use those cards to form questions. All right. Now, I remember properly that these are cards with photos. Now, I'm expected to use those cards to form requests. Now, as we know very well, for those of us doing the preparation, is that there are two ways of forming requests in German. There are two ways. I could either form it in the Z form, right? I could either form my request in the Z form, or I could do it in the do form. So when forming the request, you could either do it in the Z form or do form. Remember, this one is the formal, right? The formal. Then this one here is the informal method, depending on the setup, right? So I could either do it in the Z form or in the do form. So again, back to a point. Remember, in this part 3, you're going to form requests. So I'm going to go ahead and give some examples of requests and sentences you could use in this part, all right? I will be forming them in the Z form, okay? So remember we said that you will get cards. You're going to get cards with photos. Cards with photos. So you are expected to use those photos to form requests. You'll be using those photos to form requests. So let's assume you got your first card. Let's assume you got your first card. Let me just turn it here. And then the first card you got, you are given the word or the photo Das Auto. Let's assume this is your first card. Das Auto, which now means car, right? And then you're told to form a request. Now, of course, we've said when forming the request in the Z form, what happens is this. Look at the order. The order is you begin with your verb, all right? The order is you begin with the verb, and then you follow with the Z. Then at the end, you put an exclamation mark like that, all right? So if I'm forming a request, so remember you begin with the verb, and then you follow with the Z. So let's assume my card is auto, and I want to request somebody something using an auto. Let me assume I take the card fahren. So I could form like this. Fahren Sie. Fahren Sie das Auto. Fahren Sie das Auto. And then exclamation mark like that. Fahren Sie das Auto, which now means drive the car. Fahren Sie das Auto. Drive the car. Now, of course, you could choose to use this word here, bitte. And then the bitte, you can either place it at the beginning of the sentence, or you could place it at the end of your sentence, or even sometimes you could put bitte here. So there are 3 places you could put bitte. So that you now say, bitte Fahren Sie das Auto. Or fahren Sie bitte das Auto. Or lastly, fahren Sie das Auto bitte. So normally there are three locations you could decide to use bitte, right? So you say it when forming the request, you begin with your verb and then you follow with the Z. Fahren Sie das Auto. Drive the car. Drive the car. You could say, okay, etc, etc. Okay, let's get some other example. Let's get some other example. You've been given the card. This was the first one. Let's assume in the second one, you've been given the word beer. You've been given the card beer. So I want to request somebody something using the word beer. So you could go ahead and request somebody, please drink beer. Bitte. So let's just say, bitte trinken. Bitte trinken Sie Bier. Bitte trinken Sie Bier. Trinken Sie Bier. Please drink beer. All right. I'm going to give us two examples. Let's have two more examples, and then I allow us the chance to also form requests. Okay. Now, the next card I've been given here is Montag. Montag. Now, Montag is Monday, right? So I could request somebody, please come on Monday. Come on Monday. So come is just common, yeah? I just proceed to say, kommen. So, kommen Sie. Kommen Sie am Montag. Kommen Sie am Montag. There we go. Kommen Sie am Montag. Come on Monday. All right? Come on Monday. So you're seeing the order is this. You're beginning with your verb and then you're following with the Z. Kommen Sie am Montag. Okay, here's my last example. And the last example I have here is die Schule. Die Schule. School. Now I could go ahead and request somebody, go to school. Go to school. You just say, gehen Sie in die Schule. Gehen Sie in die Schule. Gehen Sie. So you're basically saying that the order is this. You're just beginning with your verb, and then you're following with your Z. As simple as that. All right. So I want to give the following words for us to go ahead and we'll form the request and then share in the comments, okay? The first one I'd like you to have as your test or assignment is das Handy. Das Handy. Kindly go ahead and form a request with this one, and then you can share in the comments below so that you see how correct you are. So the first one is das Handy, which means phone. Das Handy, which means phone. All right. Remember, we're forming requests, yeah, not questions, yeah. When forming it, please remember this order. We will say that the order is this. Please remember this order. Just a moment. When you'll be forming, please remember, you've been told when forming it, you begin with your verb, and then you follow with your Z. Verb, and then Z. Fahren Sie. Trinken Sie. All right. Gehen Sie. Kommen Sie. Yeah. Gehen Sie. So remember the order, beginning with the verb and then the Z. So the first one I would like you to go ahead and attempt is das Handy, which means phone. Then the second one I'd also like you to go ahead and attempt is das Essen. Das Essen, which means food. And then the last one, so das Handy, das Essen, which is food. And then the last one I'd like you to also attempt as your taste is das Fahrrad. Das Fahrrad, which now means bicycle, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, please, let's go ahead and attempt this one. After you will have formed your request, you could form as many as possible. Kindly share in the comment section so that I'll be able to check some of us and see how we've done. Well, then, that was a short sneak peek to remind us on the part number 3 of the formation of requests. Let me say, das ist alles für heute. Tschüss. Let's keep up the practice. Gute Nacht.